A billionaire installed a hidden camera to catch his trusted nanny, the woman he blamed for his son's mysterious illness, the woman he thought was destroying his family from the inside. But when he finally watched the footage, it wasn't the nanny he saw harming his child. It was the woman he was about to marry. And what she did to that innocent little boy would make even the cruelest person's blood run cold. This is the story of how one woman lost everything to save a child. How mother's intuition saw what doctors couldn't. How a hidden camera revealed a truth so terrible it would shatter a family and then rebuild it stronger than before. Before we continue, please subscribe and like this video. Comment below where you're watching from. We love hearing from you. The rain came down in sheets that November morning. Evangeline Ashford stood at the iron gates of the Thornhill estate in Greenwich, Connecticut, her single suitcase at her feet, water dripping from her coat. She'd stood in rain like this before, 18 months ago, the day they pulled her daughter from the neighbor's pool. She closed her eyes, pushed the memory down where it lived, now beneath her ribs, never stopping its ache. The gates swung open. She walked the long driveway toward the mansion, grey stone, tall windows, gardens that held their elegance even in late autumn. Isabel had told her about this place, her best friend, her sister in all but blood. Isabel, who'd hired her 3 weeks before the accident, who'd made Eva promise in that hospital room with machines beeping their final countdown to watch over her family. Take care of Declan. Isabel had whispered, her hand cold in Eva's. And Oliver, please Eva, he'll need someone who understands loss. The front door opened before Eva could knock. A man stood there, tall, early 40s, dark hair graying at the temples, eyes the color of winter storms rimmed with exhaustion that came from months of not sleeping. Declan Thornhill, real estate mogul, widower, desperate father. Miss Ashford, his voice was rough, formal. You're early. The train was on time. Eva stepped inside, grateful to escape the rain. I hope that's all right. He nodded once, didn't smile. The entrance hall was exactly as Isabel described: marble floors, a sweeping staircase, oil paintings. A wealth that whispered instead of shouted. But there was something else, a stillness, a house holding its breath. I'll show you to your quarters, Declan said, already moving toward the stairs. Oliver is with the morning nurse. You'll meet him at lunch. Her room was on the 3rd floor, simple but comfortable. A window overlooking the gardens, more space than she'd had in years. Isabel spoke highly of you, Declan said, standing in the doorway. He just still hadn't really looked at her. She said you were the only person she'd trust with Oliver. Eva's throat tightened. Isabel was my best friend. I know. Finally his eyes met hers. There was an ocean of pain there. That's why you're here, not because of qualifications. Because Isabel chose you. Because she wanted this. He'd turned to leave, then paused. My son has been through hell, Miss Ashford. Doctors who can't explain why he's failing. Therapists who say he's traumatized. Nurses who quit because they can't handle his crying. His voice cracked. I need someone who won't quit. Someone who'll put Oliver first, no matter what. Can you do that? Eva thought of Lily, of promises made at deathbeds, of second chances dressed in rain and sorrow. Yes, she said, I can do that. Eva met Oliver Thornhill in the nursery at 11:30. The room was perfect. Soft blue walls, shelves lined with books and toys, a rocking chair by the window. Everything a child could need, but the child himself was not perfect. Oliver sat in the corner, surrounded by scattered blocks he hadn't touched. He was small for 2.5. Painfully thin, dark circles shadowed his eyes that should have been bright, but instead looked dull, distant. He didn't look up when Eva entered. The morning nurse, a tired woman named Patricia, stood by the door, arms crossed. He hasn't eaten, won't drink his milk, won't play, just sits there, been like this for weeks. Eva knelt on the floor, several feet from Oliver. Didn't rush, didn't speak, just waited. Oliver's eyes flickered toward her, away. Back again. Hi, Oliver, Eva said softly. My name is Eva. I knew your mommy. She and I were best friends. Something shifted in Oliver's face, a small crack in that wall of silence. Mommy. The word was barely a whisper. Eva's heart clenched.
Yes, sweetheart. Your mommy told me all about you. She said you love trucks and the color blue and stories about brave knights. Oliver blinked. His lower lip trembled. Then slowly he stood, walked across the room on unsteady legs, stopped right in front of Eva.
And climbed into her lap. Eva wrapped her arms around the tiny body, felt it shaking with silent sobs. Oliver didn't cry out loud, just buried his face in Eva's shoulder and shook. I've got you, Eva murmured, rocking gently. I've got you, sweet boy. You're safe now. Patricia watched from the doorway, eyebrows raised. That's the first time he's let anyone hold him in 3 weeks. Eva didn't respond, just held Oliver until the shaking stopped, until the child's breathing slowed, until finally Oliver fell asleep in her arms. When Eva looked up, Declan was standing in the doorway. His face was unreadable, but his eyes were wet. He knows you, he said hoarsely. Somehow he knows you. Eva looked down at Oliver's sleeping face, so small, so broken. Children know who's safe, she said. They always know. Eva met Vivienne Delacroix that evening. Dinner was served at 7. Eva came downstairs in her only nice dress, feeling out of place among the crystal and silver. Declan sat at the head of the table. Oliver was already asleep upstairs, having finally eaten a few spoonfuls of soup in Eva's arms that afternoon. And beside Declan in a chair that Eva somehow knew had been Isabel's sat a woman who looked like she'd stepped from a magazine. Vivienne Delacroix, early 30s, auburn hair in a perfect chignon, cream-colored dress that probably cost more than Eva's monthly hospital salary back when she'd had one. Manicured hands, diamond earrings, catching candlelight. She smiled when Eva entered. The smile was warm, practiced. Eva's instincts prickled. You must be Evangeline, Vivienne said, standing to extend her hand. Her grip was firm, cold. Declan has told me so much, and Isabel spoke of you often. I'm so glad you're here. Eva shook her hand, released it quickly. Thank you. And you are Vivienne Delacroix. She glanced at Declan, who was staring at his wine glass. A close family friend. I was Isabel's grief counselor years ago. We remained close. Something about the way she said close made Eva's skin crawl. They sat. Dinner was served, roasted chicken, vegetables. Eva couldn't name wine she didn't drink. Vivienne asked about Eva's nursing background, about how she'd met Isabel, about whether she thought she could handle a challenging child like Oliver. Oliver isn't challenging, Eva said quietly. He's grieving. Vivienne's expression didn't change, but something cold flickered behind her polished exterior. Of course, I only meant that he's been rather difficult lately. The doctors are quite concerned about the bruises. Eva's fork stopped. Bruises. Declan looked up. His face was drawn. Oliver has been developing unexplained bruises, small ones on his arms and legs. Pediatricians ran tests. No bleeding disorder. They think he might be hurting himself. Eva's mind raced. A 2.5-year-old boy self-harming unlikely. Has anyone observed him doing this? She asked. Not directly, Vivienne said. But what else could it be? He's supervised constantly. Eva filed that away, said nothing more. After dinner, when they were alone, Declan mentioned, Vivienne and I are engaged. We'll be married next spring. Eva paused. Congratulations. He didn't look happy. He looked resigned. Isabel would have wanted me to move forward, to give Oliver a mother figure. Eva nodded, said nothing. What could she say? That something about Vivienne felt wrong, that the woman's perfectly controlled demeanor seemed like a mask, that no child screamed the way Oliver had screamed earlier when Vivienne just peeked in at the nursery. She had no proof, only instinct. So she stayed quiet and tried to ignore the feeling that something in this house was very, very wrong. The first incident happened on Eva's 4th day. She'd developed a routine with Oliver. Morning cuddles, breakfast, small bites, nothing forced. Garden walks, afternoon stories, dinner with Declan Oliver, eating from Eva's plate, trusting only food Eva offered. Oliver was improving. He'd gained half a pound, started playing with blocks, even smiled once when Eva found a beetle in the garden. That fourth morning, Eva went to prepare Oliver's bottle and found the nursery in chaos. Cleaning supplies everywhere. Industrial strength floor cleaner, window spray, bleach, all sitting uncapped on the changing table inches from where Oliver slept. Eva's blood turned to ice. She'd left those supplies locked in the third floor closet. She was meticulous about safety years, as a NICU nurse had made her paranoid. Oliver was still asleep, thank God. Eva grabbed the bottles, capped them, carried them out just as footsteps sounded on the stairs. Vivian appeared perfectly dressed at 7 in the morning, her eyes widened. "Oh my God, were those in the nursery?" Eva's jaw tightened. "Yes, I found them by the changing table, near Oliver." Vivian's hand flew to her mouth. "How could you be so careless?" "I didn't leave them there." Eva's voice was steady. "I locked them in the third floor closet last night." "Then how?" Vivian stopped. Her expression arranged itself into concern. "You're new here. Maybe you forgot. It's an easy mistake, but with the child's safety." "I didn't forget." Vivian bit her lip. "We should tell Declan. He needs to know." She was already pulling out her phone, texting rapidly. Declan appeared 10 minutes later, still in his robe. He looked at the bottles, at Eva, at Vivian, arms crossed, face arranged in perfect worry. "Miss Ashford," he said quietly, "did you leave these in Oliver's room?" "No, sir. I locked them away." "Then how?" "I don't know. But I would never endanger a child. Never." He studied her face. She held his gaze, willing him to see the truth. Finally, he nodded. "I believe you, but we need to be more careful. Keep the supplies in your room if necessary." "Of course." Vivian's mouth opened as if to protest, then closed. She smiled tightly. "I'm just relieved Oliver is all right." She touched Declan's arm. He didn't pull away. Eva watched them descend the stairs together, Vivian's hand on his elbow, her voice a low murmur. Then Eva went back into the nursery, checked every corner, found a small window unlocked, a window that led to a fire escape, a window Eva knew she'd locked. Someone had been in this room during the night. Someone had staged this scene. That night, she started a journal, a small notebook hidden under her mattress. Day 4, cleaning supplies found in nursery. I did not place them. Window unlocked. V was first to discover them. She didn't know it yet, but this journal would save Oliver's life. The incidents came faster. Day 6, Oliver's prescription antihistamine found open on the floor, pills scattered. Eva had left it locked in the medicine cabinet. Vivian found it. Called Declan in panic. Day 9, Oliver's crib mobile with small removable parts found disassembled in the crib during nap time. Choking hazards everywhere. Vivian found it, thank goodness. Day 12, the window incident. Eva returned from hanging laundry to find Oliver's window wide open. November wind pouring in. Oliver's shivering lips tinged blue. Eva grabbed the child, wrapped him in blankets. Vivian appeared within minutes. "What happened? Is Oliver all right?" "Window was open. I closed it this morning." "You're sure?" Something calculated flickered across Vivian's face. "Eva, I'm worried. These incidents only happen on your watch." Eva wanted to scream, but she had no proof. Only suspicions growing stronger with each incident. That evening, Declan called her to his study. "I want to believe you," he said without preamble. "But these incidents, they're piling up. Oliver is all I have left. If something happens because I was too trusting..." His voice broke. Eva leaned forward. "Mr. Thornhill, Declan, I lost my daughter 18 months ago, drowned in a neighbor's pool while I was at work. I know your terror, that guilt. I would never put another child at risk." His eyes widened. "I didn't know." Isabel knew. She was there when it happened. Eva's hands shook. I couldn't save Lily. I won't let that happen to Oliver. They sat in silence. Finally, Declan spoke. I believe you, but I need you to be more careful. Or someone specific needs to stop creating situations, Eva said quietly. His jaw tightened. What are you implying? Nothing, sir. Just that these incidents only occur when certain people can witness them. Vivian cares about Oliver. Does she? Declan stood abruptly. That's enough. Vivian is going to be Oliver's stepmother. I won't have her questioned. Eva returned to her room, pulled out her journal, added entries. Day 12 window incident. O's lips were blue. V appeared within 2 minutes. How pattern emerging every accident when I'm elsewhere. V always discovers them. D is trusting her completely. She stared at the words, then added, I need proof before something worse happens. Dr. Patricia Morland was the 4th pediatrician to examine Oliver in 4 months. Eva stood in the corner while the doctor examined him. Oliver clung to Eva's leg, wouldn't let anyone else touch him until Eva nodded permission. He's underweight, Dr. Morland said, frowning. And these bruises, different stages of healing, no obvious impact pattern. What does that mean? Declan asked. Vivian stood beside him, hand in his. It means I don't have answers. Blood work is normal. No clotting disorders. No severe nutritional deficiencies. Bone density is good. Then where are the bruises from? Vivian's voice was tight with manufactured worry. Possible self-harm, but unlikely at this age in boys. What about his failure to thrive? Declan's hand was white-knuckled. Dr. Morland hesitated. Your son experienced significant trauma, loss of his mother, multiple caregiver changes. Sometimes children respond by shutting down. Refusing food is control. So this is psychological, Vivian asked. Partially. But given the unexplained bruising and regression, I am required to contact Child Protective Services. Declan went pale. You think someone is hurting him? I think we need to be thorough. In the parking lot afterward, Vivian turned to Declan. Maybe this is for the best, an objective evaluation. Her eyes flickered to Eva. Just for a second, message received. The CPS visit happened 3 days later. Margaret Sullivan arrived at 9, a woman in her 50s, with grey hair and kind eyes that had seen too much. She interviewed everyone separately. When it was Eva's turn, tell me about your relationship with Oliver. Eva explained everything. How Oliver had climbed into her lap that first day. How he was improving slowly. And the incidents, Margaret asked. I didn't do any of those things. Someone is trying to make me look negligent. Who? I have suspicions. No proof. Margaret studied her. Miss Ashford, I've read your file. I know about your daughter. I'm sorry for your loss. Eva's throat tightened. Thank you. Do you think your grief might be affecting your judgment? No. I know what grief does. This isn't that. The investigation took 5 hours. They photographed everything, checked locks, interviewed staff. At the end, Margaret sat with Declan. Eva waited in the hallway. When Declan emerged, his face was grey. Eva, can you come in? Margaret's face was professionally neutral. The investigation is inconclusive. We found no evidence of deliberate harm. However, given the pattern, I'm recommending changes. What changes? Eva asked. Temporarily, Declan said, voice hoarse. Just temporarily. We need to eliminate variables. You'll stay on staff, household duties, but no unsupervised contact with Oliver. Vivian will take over primary care. Eva felt the floor drop. Vivian, sir, please. Oliver doesn't trust. That's my decision. His tone was final. I'm sorry. If things improve, we'll revisit this. Eva looked at Margaret. You're allowing this. I'm recommending supervision. But Thornhill is within his rights. Eva wanted to scream, but she had no proof. Only fear. Fine, she said. If that's what you think is best. She climbed to the nursery. Oliver was napping curled around a stuffed dinosaur. Eva knelt beside the crib, touched Oliver's soft hair. I'm sorry, sweetheart, she whispered, but I won't stop protecting you. I promise. Oliver stirred, reached out, his tiny hand closed around Eva's finger, and Eva made a decision. She couldn't protect Oliver directly anymore, but she could protect him another way. That night, Eva retrieved an old baby monitor camera from the attic. Small, wireless, battery-powered, she positioned it high on a bookshelf in the nursery, hidden behind a stuffed elephant. Angled toward the crib, the changing table, most of the room, she activated it, paired it with her phone, set it to record continuously storing footage in the cloud. It was illegal. If caught, she'd be fired, possibly charged. But Oliver was worth it. She would watch, she would wait. And when Vivian made her next move, Eva would be ready. 3 days passed where Eva scrubbed floors while Vivian played mother to a child who screamed every time the woman entered the room. 3 days where Oliver stopped eating again, stopped smiling. 3 days where Eva watched camera footage every night, seeing nothing but a little boy crying himself to sleep. Until day 4. Eva was in the kitchen when her phone buzzed, motion detected. It was 2 p.m., nap time. Vivian had put Oliver down an hour ago. Eva opened the app, watched the live feed. Vivian entered the room, looked around, checked the door. Then she walked to Oliver's crib. Oliver was crying, a tired, hopeless sound. Vivian reached down, grabbed Oliver's arm, yanked him up. "Shut up," Vivian hissed. "God, you're annoying." She shook Oliver hard. The child's head snapped back and forth. Eva's hands went numb. Vivian set Oliver down roughly. The toddler's head hit the crib rail with a soft thunk. Oliver screamed louder. Vivian grabbed him again. This time she lifted Oliver completely out, held him upside down by his ankles. "Is this fun?" Vivian laughed, cruel, cold. "You like being upside down." Oliver's screams filled the audio. His face was red, terrified. Vivian swung him gently like a pendulum, still laughing. Then she flipped Oliver right side up, held him at arm's length, looked into the child's face. "You took everything from me," she said softly. "Your mother, your father's attention, my chance. You're just a burden, a crying, needy little burden." She dropped Oliver back into the crib. Oliver landed hard, whimpered. Vivian leaned over. "If you tell anyone, not that you can talk properly, but if you tell, I'll make sure Eva goes away forever. Then it'll just be you and me, every day. Do you understand?" Oliver curled into a ball, silent now, shaking. Vivian straightened, smoothed her dress, checked her reflection in the window. Then she left, closing the door softly. Eva stood in the kitchen, phone clutched in white-knuckled hands, feeling the world tilt. She'd suspected. But this was beyond suspicion. This was evidence. Clear, undeniable, evil. Eva's hands shook as she saved the video, backed it up, sent it to 3 cloud accounts. Then she ran, up the stairs, down the hall, to Oliver's room. She burst through the door. Oliver was still in the crib, still curled up, still shaking. "Oliver," Eva breathed. She lifted the child out, held him close. "I've got you. I'm here. You're safe." Oliver clung to her, buried his face in Eva's neck, didn't make a sound. Eva rocked him, whispered promises, felt the child's heartbeat gradually slow, and knew with absolute certainty that the war had just begun. Because now she had proof. Now she could fight back. Now she could save this child the way she hadn't been able to save her own. The camera kept recording, silent witness to a woman holding a broken child, making promises she intended to keep, no matter what it cost. End of part 1 word. Count 5,000. Welcome back. In part 1, Eva witnessed something that changed everything. Through a hidden camera, she watched Vivian Delacroix, the trusted fiancée, torture little Oliver, shake him, hold him upside down, threaten him. Now Eva has proof. But in a house where no one believes, her proof might not be enough. Because Vivian isn't just cruel, she's calculating. And when she realizes someone is watching, she'll become far more dangerous. This is part 2, Where evidence is gathered, stakes rise higher, and the truth gets darker with every revelation. Eva didn't sleep that night. She sat in her third-floor room, laptop open, watching the footage again. Every shake, every cruel word, every moment of Vivienne's mask slipping away. At 3 a.m., she opened a new document. Evidence log. Oliver Thornhill case. Subject: Vivienne Delacroix. Suspected crime: child abuse conspiracy to commit murder. Victim: Oliver Thornhill. Age 2.5 years. Video 1. November 18th, 2:15 p.m. Subject enters nursery during nap time. Shakes victim violently. Holds victim upside down by ankles while laughing. Drops victim into crib, causing impact with rail. Verbally threatens victim. Duration: 8 minutes 23 seconds. She saved the document, encrypted it, backed it up to 4 cloud servers. Then she lay down fully clothed and waited for morning. The next day, Eva started watching Vivienne like a scientist watches a specimen. She moved through the house quietly, doing assigned tasks, laundry, dishes, polishing, always invisible, always tracking. Vivienne came every day now. Sometimes stayed overnight in Declan's room, playing house, playing stepmother, and every time she was alone with Oliver, Eva watched through the camera. Day 5. Vivienne fed Oliver lunch. Roughly. Spooned food too fast. Oliver gagged, spit up. Vivienne slapped the high chair tray. Swallow it. Stop being dramatic. Eva saved the video. Day 6 nap time. Vivienne changed Oliver's diaper. Jerked the child's legs up. Oliver whimpered. "Oh, stop it. You're fine." She fastened it too tight. Oliver cried. Vivienne left without checking. Eva saved the video. Day 7 bath time. Vivienne filled the tub. Tested with her hand, not a thermometer. Put Oliver in. The child screamed, "Water too hot." Vivienne rolled her eyes. "It's barely warm. You're such a baby." Left Oliver in scalding water 30 seconds before lifting him out, skin red and blotchy. Eva saved the video. Her hands shook so badly, she almost dropped the phone. Each video went to the cloud, each documented with timestamps, descriptions, observations. But Eva needed more than abuse footage. She needed motive. On day 8, she found it. It happened by accident. Eva was cleaning Declan's study when she saw it. A laptop. Left open. Silver. Older. Vivienne's. Eva's heart hammered. Voices downstairs, Declan and Vivienne discussing dinner. She had maybe 5 minutes. Her fingers touched the trackpad. Screen lit up. Vivienne hadn't logged out. Eva's breath caught. This was illegal, but Oliver was being tortured. She opened the email application. First message from Gerard Whitmore. Subject: Final Notice. Bankruptcy filing. Eva clicked. "Miss Delacroix, this is your final notice before involuntary bankruptcy filing. Outstanding debts: 1 tal and 847,392 Cansidine. Without immediate payment of at least 500,000 by December 15th, we proceed with asset seizure. Foreclosure on your gallery." December 1st, Eva's mind raced. Vivienne was broke, about to marry a man worth 600 million. She scrolled, found more. Credit card companies, loan collectors. Then the folder, Thornhill, personal inside dozens of files. Photos of Declan, the house, Oliver, documents, legal documents. Eva opened one. Connecticut inheritance law. Children's rights, highlighted sections, margin notes. If spouse dies without will, child inherits majority. Child's guardian gains estate control until majority. Child custody default to step parent if biological parent deceased. Another document, life insurance policies. Declan Thornhill, 5 policies, 80 million total, beneficiaries. Oliver first, then spouse. Then search history screenshots. How to cause accidental death in toddlers. Undetectable ways to harm young children. Stair accidents, children survival rate, drowning bathtub looks accidental. How long until life insurance payout? Eva's vision blurred. She gripped the desk. Vivian wasn't just abusing Oliver. She was planning to kill him, make it look like an accident. Then, once Oliver was gone, Vivian would have Declan, his money, everything. And based on another search, accidental death household accidents, Declan might not be safe either once marriage was secure. Eva's stomach heaved. She barely made it to the trash can. Footsteps on the stairs. Eva slammed the laptop shut, grabbed her cloth, was wiping the bookshelf when Vivian walked in. "Oh," Vivian said. "Still working. It's nearly 8. "Almost finished, ma'am." Eva didn't meet her eyes. Vivian walked to the desk, picked up her laptop. "Have you been near my computer?" "No, ma'am. Just dusting around it." Those calculating eyes studied Eva's face, searching. Eva kept her expression neutral. Years as a NICU nurse had taught her to hide emotion. Finally, Vivian nodded. "Good. Privacy is important, don't you think?" "Yes, ma'am." Vivian left laptop under her arm. Eva waited until footsteps faded. Then she pulled out her phone, sent herself an email from the study computer. Subject V. Delacroix. Evidence summary. Body. Everything she'd seen. Every document. Every search query. Hit send. The email whooshed to safety. Then, Eva sat in Declan's chair and tried to figure out how to tell a man his fiancée was planning to murder his son, and possibly him. Eva tried the next morning. She found Declan in the breakfast room alone. Vivian had gone to run errands. Oliver was with Jenny, the new nurse. "Mr. Thornhill," Eva said, "I need to speak with you. Urgent." He looked up from coffee, exhausted, grey. "Is Oliver all right?" "No, sir, and I know why." His jaw tightened. "Eva, if this is about child care duties, please, listen. I have evidence, videos, documents." "Videos?" His eyes sharpened. "What kind?" "I installed a camera in Oliver's room. I know it was wrong, but I had to." "You did what?" He stood abruptly. "You've been recording without permission. To protect him." "Sir, just look at the footage." "I'll see that you've been spying on my family. That's a violation of trust, possibly illegal." "Vivian is hurting Oliver." The words burst out. She shakes him, holds him upside down, threatens him. "I have it all on video. And she's not just cruel, she's planning worse. She has massive debts. She's researching how to harm children. She's going to..." "Enough." Declan's hand slammed the table. Coffee sloshed. "I don't want conspiracy theories about my fiancée." "It's not conspiracy. Look at the videos." "How do you know about her search history? Have you been going through her files too?" Eva's silence answered. "Jesus Christ!" Big ran his hand through hair. "Eva, I tried to trust you. Isabel trusted you. But this is paranoia. My grief has nothing to do. You lost your daughter. I understand that pain, but you can't project it onto my family. You can't manufacture a villain." "I'm not manufacturing anything. The evidence is that you've invaded our privacy and are making wild accusations against a woman who has done nothing but help." Eva felt tears burn. "Oliver screams when Vivian touches him. Haven't you noticed? Your son is terrified." "Oliver is traumatized, grieving. The doctors explained this. The doctors don't see what I see." "No," Declan said quietly. "You see what your pain wants you to see." He walked to the door, stopped, didn't turn. "You're fired, Eva. Out by tomorrow morning." The words hit like a blow. "Sir Declan, please, just watch one video. One. If you still think I'm wrong, I'll leave. But please, for Oliver, for Isabel, please just look." His shoulders were rigid. "I'll have your paycheck tonight. Please avoid Vivian. This will be hard enough without confrontation." He left. Eva stood in the empty room, her world crumbling. She'd lost Lily. Now she was losing Oliver too, unless she did something drastic. Eva didn't pack. She spent the afternoon in her room, door locked, making copies. Every video, every document screenshot. She burned them to USB drives, emailed them to attorneys, Child Protective Services, anyone who might listen. But she knew how systems worked. Without immediate danger, they moved slowly. Too slowly to save Oliver. She needed something bigger, something undeniable, something live in person with witnesses. That evening, she heard Vivian on the phone in the hallway. Voice too low to make out words, but the tone was excited. Eva pressed her ear to her door. Thanksgiving, yes. 4 days. Everyone there, his partners, his family. Perfect time too. No, she'll be gone. The nanny. Declan fired her today. So just us. And Oliver. Pause. Laugh. It'll look like an accident. Children fall. Especially on stairs. No one will question. Eva's blood froze. Thanksgiving. Vivian was planning something for Thanksgiving. 4 days. She had 4 days to expose Vivian, to make Declan see, to save Oliver. And she'd just been fired. Eva paced, thought, planned. Then she pulled out her phone, dialed a number she hadn't called in 18 months. Hartford Police Department. I need to report a child in immediate danger. The police came the next morning. 2 officers, Martinez and Chen. They interviewed Eva first. You have evidence of abuse? Officer Martinez asked. Eva showed everything. Videos, documents, search histories. They watched in silence. When footage of Vivian shaking Oliver played, Martinez's jaw tightened. This is clear abuse, she said. But there are problems with how you obtained this. I know it's illegal. I don't care. I just want Oliver safe. The camera is one thing. The laptop search is more serious. But Martinez exchanged a look with her partner. Given the content and child safety, we can work with this. What happens now? We interview the family, examine the child. If we find evidence, we petition for emergency custody. How long? Depends. Could be hours, could be days. We don't have days. Eva's voice was urgent. She's planning something for Thanksgiving, something fatal. The officers exchanged another look. We'll expedite, Martinez said. They went downstairs. Eva followed at a distance. Declan's voice shocked and angry. Officers, I don't understand. A wellness check. Sir, we've received credible reports of child endangerment. We need to examine your son. This is ridiculous. My fiancée would never. Where is your fiancée now? Pause. Upstairs with Oliver. I'll get her. Eva's heart pounded. This was it. They'd see Vivian with Oliver. See the fear. Footsteps on stairs. Vivian appeared carrying Oliver. The child was quiet. Too quiet. Eyes dull. But not screaming. Not fighting. Eva's stomach sank. Officers. Vivian said, voice perfectly modulated. Concerned but cooperative. Is everything all right? Something about a wellness check. We need to examine the child, ma'am. Of course. Anything to help. Oliver has been unwell. We've seen several doctors. I'm glad you're here. She handed Oliver to Martinez with a gentle smile. Oliver went without protest. No screaming, no terror. Eva realized what had happened. Vivian had drugged him. Nothing strong enough to be obvious, just enough for docility. The examination took place in Oliver's room. Eva wasn't allowed inside. 40 minutes later, the officers came downstairs. Martinez looked apologetic. To Tuster Thornhill, we found no evidence of current abuse. The bruises appear consistent with normal childhood injuries. Your son appears healthy if underweight. Then we're done. Declan's voice was tight. We'd like to speak with Miss Delacroix separately. They interviewed Vivian in the study. She emerged 20 minutes later with red-rimmed eyes, tissue in hand. It's so awful, she was saying, to be accused. I love Oliver like my own. To think that someone would. Voice breaking. The performance was flawless. When the officers left, Declan followed them out. Eva watched from her window. She saw Martinez shake her head, saw Declan's shoulders relax. Then he looked up at Eva's window. His eyes were cold. Eva knew she'd lost. The police wouldn't help. Declan wouldn't believe her. And Vivian had learned someone was watching. She would be more careful now. Until Thanksgiving. Until the accident. Eva had 3 days. That night, there was a knock on Eva's door at 7:30. Eva opened it expecting Declan. Instead, Jenny, the young nurse, eyes wide frightened. "Can I come in?" she whispered. Eva pulled her inside, locked the door. "I saw something," Jenny said. "This afternoon, after police left." Eva's pulse quickened. "What?" "Miss Delacroix, with Oliver in the nursery. But Thornhill went to his office. He asked me to start dinner. I was coming back for Oliver's laundry when I heard sounds." "What sounds?" "Crying, muffled, like someone being held." Jenny's eyes were wet. "I looked through the door. It was cracked and I saw her." "What was she doing?" "She had Oliver by the arms, shaking him, telling him to shut up or else. Then she—" Jenny's voice broke. "She lifted him up, held him upside down. Oliver was screaming and Miss Delacroix was laughing." Eva's hands curled into fists. "Did you record it?" "No, I was shocked. Just stood there. Then Miss Delacroix heard me, put Oliver down, came to the door, saw me." "What did she say?" "She smiled." Jenny's face paled. "Said, 'Children need firm boundaries. Oliver and I were playing. Please don't mention this to Mr. Thornhill. He gets worried. We don't want to stress him.' Then handed me $100 for discretion." "Did you take it?" "I didn't know what to do. I took it, said okay. Then went to my room and threw up." Jenny grabbed Eva's hand. "You were right. She's hurting that baby. And no one believes us." Eva thought quickly. "The camera is still recording. It caught this afternoon." "Then show Mr. Thornhill. He won't watch. He thinks I'm paranoid." Eva paced. "But if we had a witness, someone who saw in person, he won't believe me either. I'm just the new nurse. Miss Delacroix will say I'm lying." Eva stopped, an idea forming. Dangerous, possibly insane, but it might work. "What if we made him see it?" she said slowly. "Not through camera, not through witness. What if we made him walk in while it was happening?" Jenny's eyes widened. "How Vivian is careful when watched. But if she thinks she's alone with Oliver, she drops the mask." "You want to set a trap?" "But Thanksgiving," Eva said. "Everyone here, 50 guests, Vivian playing hostess, perfect stepmother, but at some point she'll slip away. Check on Oliver, and that's when she'll do something." "Do what?" Eva remembered the phone call. "Children fall, especially on stairs." "Something fatal," Eva said. "Something that looks accidental." Jenny paled. "We can't use Oliver as bait." "We won't. We'll be watching, both of us. When Vivian makes her move, we'll be there. And we'll make sure Declan is too." "He fired you. You won't be at dinner." Eva smiled grimly. "Then I'll be somewhere he won't expect." She pulled out her laptop, showed Jenny the cloud storage, dozens of videos, timestamps, evidence. "I'm sending this to state police," Eva said, "and 3 lawyers, with instructions if anything happens to me or Oliver, it gets released to media. Every news station, Declan's company destroyed by scandal." "That's intense. Vivian is planning to kill a child." "We're past intense." Eva met her eyes. "I need to know if you're in." Jenny was quiet. Then she squared her shoulders. "I'm in. I became a nurse to help children, not stand by while they're murdered." Eva felt hope surge. "Okay," she said. "Here's what we do." Eva didn't leave that night. She told Declan she needed an extra day. Sister was supposed to pick her up, mix up with transportation. Could she stay one more night? He agreed, barely looking at her. That bought her Thanksgiving Day. She spent 3 days preparing, planning, watching Vivian through the camera, documenting every cruelty. The videos worsened. November 23rd, Vivian pinched Oliver's arm, hard enough to leave marks. Oliver whimpered, "Vivian, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about." November 24th, Vivian accidentally bumped Oliver into a doorframe. Oliver's head hit with a sickening thunk. Vivian, "Oops, watch where you're going." November 25th, Thanksgiving morning, Vivian stood over Oliver's crib, watching the sleeping child. Expression cold, calculating. "Soon," she whispered. "Very soon you won't be a problem." Then she lay fan to prepare for the party. Eva saved every video, backed everything up again, and made one final call. Officer Martinez answered on the second ring. Miss Ashford, I hope. A child will be in danger tonight, Thanksgiving night, Thornhill Estate. I believe Vivian Delacroix will attempt to harm or kill Oliver Thornhill between 6 and 9 p.m. Pause. That's serious. I have more evidence, new videos, and a witness who saw abuse firsthand. Miss Ashford, we investigated. She drugged the child. That's why Oliver was docile. Check the toxicology from your visit. You'll find sedatives. Another pause. Longer. If you're wrong, I'm not. And if you don't come and something happens, I'll make sure every news outlet knows. Police were warned and did nothing. It was mostly a bluff, but her voice held conviction. I can have units nearby, Martinez said finally. Plain clothes. If there's indication of danger, they'll intervene. Thank you. Miss Ashford, be careful. If you're right, she's dangerous. Don't confront her alone. I won't, Eva lied, because she knew when the moment came, she would do whatever it took, even if it meant not walking away. Guests began arriving at 5. Eva watched from her window as luxury cars pulled up. Men in expensive suits, women in designer dresses. Connecticut's elite coming to celebrate with Declan Thornhill and his beautiful fiancée. Vivian stood at the door greeting everyone. Cream-colored dress, perfect hair, radiant smile. She looked like an angel. Eva knew better. At 6, Jenny came to Eva's room. Everyone's in the dining room. Dinner's being served. Oliver is in the nursery with a monitor. Miss Delacroix insisted he needed quiet away from noise. Perfect, Eva said. That's when she'll move, when everyone's distracted. Camera's still recording. Yes, and I've set up a second one in the hallway. Multiple angles. Jenny nodded. I told Mr. Thornhill I'd check on Oliver during dinner. He said fine. Eva handed her a small wireless earpiece. Put this in. We can communicate. They synchronized phones, tested audio. It worked. Eva, Jenny said quietly, what if we're wrong? What if she doesn't do anything? Then I'm paranoid and wasted everyone's time. I can live with that. Eva met her eyes. But if we're right and we do nothing, a child dies. Can you live with that? Jenny shook her head. Then we wait and watch. At 6:40, Eva's phone buzzed. Jenny. She just excused herself, said she wants to check on Oliver, heading upstairs. Eva's heart hammered. She typed, I'm watching camera. Officer Martinez is in position in the guest room next door. Get ready. She'd coordinated with Martinez earlier. The officer would wait in the adjacent guest room, listening. If Vivian made her move, Martinez would intervene. And Declan, who'd finally agreed after seeing the latest footage last night, would be close by. Eva pulled up the live feed. Vivian entered the nursery, closed the door, walked to the crib where Oliver lay sleeping. Stood there for a long moment just looking down. Then she reached in, lifted Oliver out. The child woke groggy and confused. Hello, sweetheart, Vivian said softly. Did you have a nice nap? Oliver whimpered. Tried to pull away. Vivian's grip tightened. No, stay still. We're going to play a game. Eva's phone was in her hand recording the feed. On camera, Vivian carried Oliver to the doorway. Opened it, looked into the hallway. The stairs are so slippery, Vivian murmured. Especially for little boys who don't watch where they're going. Eva's blood turned to ice. She was going to push Oliver down the stairs, make it look like the child wandered out and fell. Eva burst from her room, ran down the hallway. She rounded the corner and stopped. Vivian stuttered at the top of the main staircase, Oliver in her arms, the child crying silently, tears streaming. Vivian looked up, saw Eva. Their eyes met. For a moment, everything froze. Then Vivian smiled. Eva, she said pleasantly, I thought you'd left. How awkward. Put him down, Eva said, voice steady despite terror screaming through her veins. I'm just taking him downstairs. He woke up and wanted his daddy. You're going to push him. Make it look like an accident. That's a terrible accusation. Why would I do such a thing? Because you're broke. Because you need Declan's money. Because Oliver is in the way. You can't prove any of that. Actually, Eva said, I can. She held up her phone, showed Vivian the screen, the live camera feed, the audio. Every word Vivian had just said recorded. Vivian's face went white, then red, then something Eva had never seen before. Pure undiluted rage. "You bitch!" Vivian hissed, and she stepped toward the stairs. Eva didn't think, just moved. She launched forward, grabbed for Oliver. Vivian jerked away, lost her balance. For one terrible moment, all three teetered at the top of the staircase. Oliver screaming, Vivian struggling, Eva holding on with everything she had. Then hands grabbed Eva from behind, strong hands, pulling her back to safety. She caught a glimpse of Declan's face, white with shock, and Officer Martinez in plain clothes emerging from the guest room exactly where she'd been waiting just as they'd planned that morning. Vivian's grip on Oliver loosened. Eva lunged, caught the child, pulled him close. Vivian stumbled backward, hit the railing. For a second, Eva thought she would fall, but Declan caught her, steadied her. And Vivian, realizing she was caught, realizing it was over, did the only thing she could. She started to cry. "I wasn't going to hurt him," she sobbed. "I would never. I was scared. Eva was threatening me. She's been harassing me for weeks. I was trying to get away." "Stop," Declan said quietly. His voice was different, broken, destroyed. "I heard you," he continued. "When you said Oliver was in the way, when you said the stairs were slippery, I heard all of it." Vivian's tears stopped, just like turning off a faucet. "You heard flat, no emotion now. I got Eva's text, came upstairs, was in the hallway when you—" He couldn't finish. Eva held Oliver tighter. The child had buried his face in Eva's neck, tiny body, shaking. "Mr. Thornhill," Martinez said, stepping forward, "I need you to step away from Miss Delacroix." More officers appeared. They'd been stationed around the property. One took Vivian's arm. She yanked it away, looked at Declan with pure venom. "You were never supposed to hear that," she said. "You were supposed to stay downstairs, play the grieving father. And I was supposed to have everything, everything." Declan's voice cracked. "My son's life for money. Your son was a mistake. Isabel never wanted children. She told me that years ago. Then she got pregnant and suddenly you were a family and I was—" Vivian's composure shattered. "I was nothing. I'd loved her for years, years. And she chose you, chose this life, chose that brat." The truth poured out, the obsession, the jealousy, the hatred. "When she died, I thought I finally had a chance." Vivian continued, voice rising. "I could have you, have the life she denied me. But Oliver was always there, always crying, always needing, always existing." She looked at the child in Eva's arms, ice cold, dead. "I should have done it sooner," she said. "Should have smothered him in his sleep. But I wanted to make him suffer first, the way Isabel made me suffer." The officer holding her arm looked sick. Declan backed away, as if she were poison. "Take her," he whispered. They did. Handcuffs, Miranda rights. The walk down the stairs while 50 dinner guests watched in horror. At the door, Vivian looked back at Eva. "You should have minded your own business," she said. Then she was gone, and Eva stood at the top of the stairs holding a sobbing child, while Declan Thornhill fell to his knees and wept. End of part 2. Word count 5500. Welcome to the final chapter. Vivian has been arrested. The truth is out. But this isn't just about catching a monster. It's about what comes after, about healing, about justice, about a family rebuilt from ashes and love. This is part 3, where broken things become beautiful again. The house was silent after police left. 50 guests had departed in shocked whispers. Thanksgiving dinner abandoned. Food cold. Candles burned down. Vivian's decorations seemed grotesque now, a stage set for horror. Declan sat in his study, head in hands. He hadn't spoken since police took Vivian. Hadn't moved except to breathe. Eva stood in the doorway, Oliver asleep in her arms. The child had finally cried himself into exhaustion, tiny hands still clutching Eva's shirt. Mr. Thornhill, Eva said softly. He looked up, eyes red-rimmed, devastated. He'd aged 10 years in 2 hours. I'm sorry, he said hoarsely. God, Eva, I'm so sorry. You tried to tell me, tried to warn me, and voice breaking, I almost let her kill my son. Eva crossed the room, sat. Oliver stirred but didn't wake. You didn't know, Eva said quietly. Vivian fooled everyone. Police, social worker, staff, even Isabel years ago. But you knew from the beginning. I suspected. That's different. Eva looked at Oliver's sleeping face. Mother's intuition maybe, or grief that taught me what real love looks like. Vivian never loved Oliver. Declan's hands shook. I should have seen, should have protected him. Instead, I chose comfort over safety. You chose what looked like love. That's not a crime. It almost became tragedy. They sat in silence, clock ticking, wind rattling windows. Finally, Declan spoke. Police want you to testify. At trial, they said your evidence, the video's documentation, strongest case they've seen. I'll testify, Eva said immediately. Whatever Oliver needs. And after, he met her eyes. Because I'm asking you to stay, not as employee, as, he struggled, as family, if you'll have us, if you can forgive me. Eva felt tears prick. There's nothing to forgive. There's everything. I fired you, accused you, chose Vivian over you repeatedly. Voice raw. But Oliver needs you, and he stopped, started again. I need you, not to replace Isabel. No one could, but to help us heal, help us become family again. Oliver stirred, opened his eyes, looked around confused. Then he saw Declan, and for the first time in months, he reached for him. Daddy, he whispered. Declan crossed the room in 3 strides, gathered his son into his arms, held him like he'd never let go. I've got you, buddy, he murmured. Daddy's got you. You're safe now, I promise. I swear. You're safe. Eva watched them, these 2 broken souls, beginning to knit together. She thought of Isabel, of promises at deathbeds, of second chances that looked like answered prayers. I'll stay, she said softly. Declan looked at her over Oliver's head. Thank you. For everything, for not giving up when I did, for saving him when I couldn't. We saved him together, Eva said. All of us, even Isabel in her way. They stayed like that for a long time. 3 of them in the quiet study. A family not born, but forged through fire and fear and love that refused to quit. Outside, the first snow of the season began to fall. The trial began on a grey January morning. Connecticut Superior Court. Judge Barbara Whitmore, presiding. Prosecution charged Vivian with attempted murder, child endangerment, multiple counts of assault, conspiracy to commit murder. The courtroom was packed. Media, child welfare advocates, Declan's business associates. Some of Vivian's former friends come to watch her fall. Eva sat in the witness gallery, hands folded, waiting. Vivian entered in handcuffs. Simple grey dress calculated to look humble, repentant. Hair pulled back, no makeup. She looked younger, vulnerable. She looked nothing like the monster Eva knew her to be. Assistant District Attorney Rachel Morrison's opening statement was devastating. Ladies and gentlemen, Morrison began, you will see evidence of calculated systematic abuse against a helpless child. You will watch videos, disturbing videos of the defendant torturing 2.5-year-old Oliver Thornhill, shaking him, holding him upside down, threatening him, planning his death. Morrison clicked a remote. The screen lit up. The first video played. Vivian lifting Oliver by one arm. The child's scream. Vivian's laugh. Several jurors gasped. One woman covered her mouth. Vivian stared straight ahead, face blank. You will hear testimony, Morrison continued, from medical experts confirming bruises were caused by adult hands, from officers who responded, and from Evangeline Ashford, whose courage and determination are the only reasons Oliver Thornhill is alive today. The defense attorney stood, Charles Brennan, silver-haired, known for impossible cases. The prosecution will show videos, he said smoothly. Videos obtained illegally through surveillance installed without consent. They'll paint Miss Delacroix as a monster, but what they won't show is context. A stressed woman caring for a traumatized child who rejected her. A woman with financial troubles, yes, but not a murderer. He gestured to Vivian. My client made mistakes. Her discipline was perhaps harsh, but a harsh discipline is not attempted murder. And conspiracy theories from a grieving woman are not evidence. The first day was brutal. Dr. Sarah Chen testified, described Oliver's injuries clinically, showed photographs that made the jury flinch. These bruises, Dr. Chen said, show clear pattern of adult finger marks, 4 on each arm exactly where fingers would grip. Force required would be significant. This was not a child falling. On cross-examination, Brennan attacked. Dr. Chen, you examined Oliver only once. After allegations. Hey, yes. So you never saw injuries fresh? No, but the pattern. The pattern could have many explanations. You can't definitively say, my client caused these, can you? Hesitation. Not with absolute certainty, no. But, thank you, doctor. Day 2 brought police testimony. Martinez described the wellness check, the drugged child, lack of fresh injuries. With hindsight, she admitted, we should have looked closer, but the child appeared calm. Home appeared safe. So you missed it, Brennan said on cross. Police with all your training missed the supposed danger Miss Ashford claims was obvious. We missed the sedation, yes. What else might you have missed, or might Miss Ashford have invented? Objection, Morrison called. Argumentative. Sustained. But damage was done. Jury looked uncertain. Day 3 was Eva's turn. Eva took the stand at 9:30 Wednesday morning. Simple navy dress. Small cross Isabel had given her. Hands steady as she placed them on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Morrison approached. Miss Ashford, please tell the jury how you came to work for the Thornhill family. Eva took a breath. I was hired by Isabel Thornhill before her death to care for her son. Isabel was my best friend. She knew I'd lost my own daughter 18 months prior. She wanted someone who understood grief. And when you arrived, what did you observe about Oliver? He was failing to thrive, underweight, withdrawn. Multiple doctors had examined him without finding cause. But I noticed immediately Oliver reacted differently to different people. How so? When I held him, he relaxed, ate small amounts, slept. But when Vivian Delacroix entered the room, Oliver became hysterical, screaming, trying to get away. Objection, Brennan called. Speculation. Witness cannot know what the child was feeling. I'll rephrase, Morrison said. What were Oliver's observable behaviors around Miss Delacroix? He screamed, cried, clung to me or his father, refused eye contact, physically tried to escape. And did anyone else notice? But Thornhill noticed, but attributed it to trauma from losing his mother. Staff noticed, but didn't interfere. Eva's voice was steady. I noticed because I've worked with traumatized children. This wasn't grief, it was terror. Morrison pulled up the first video. Miss Ashford described what's happening in this footage. Eva watched Vivian shake Oliver. Even knowing what was coming, seeing it projected made her stomach turn. Miss Delacroix is shaking Oliver. Violently. Oliver is crying. Miss Delacroix tells him to shut up. Then she holds Oliver upside down by ankles, laughing while the child screams. And where was this obtained? From a camera I installed in Oliver's nursery. Why did you install this camera? Because I suspected abuse but had no proof. Multiple accidents had occurred cleaning supplies left near Oliver medications, left open, windows unlocked in winter. Every incident was blamed on me. I needed to know the truth. Even though secretly recording was illegal, Eva met the jury's eyes. Yes, because proving I was right was less important than keeping Oliver alive. Morrison showed more videos, 47 incidents spanning 6 weeks. Each worse than the last. By the end, 2 jurors were crying. Miss Ashford, Morrison said gently, did there come a time when you realized Miss Delacroix's abuse was escalating? Yes, I overheard a phone conversation mentioning Thanksgiving, making something look like an accident, children falling on stairs. And what did you do? I contacted police, tried to warn Mr. Thornhill, set up additional cameras to capture whatever Miss Delacroix was planning. Tell us what happened Thanksgiving night. Eva described it all, the dinner party, Vivian excusing herself the moment she saw Vivian at the stairs holding Oliver about to push. I ran, Eva said simply. I didn't think, I just knew I had to stop her. You risked your life. Oliver's life was more important. Morrison paused, let that hang. No further questions. Brennan stood for cross, approached slowly. Miss Ashford, you lost your daughter. Lily, correct? Eva's heart clenched. Yes. And you blame yourself. Objection, Morrison called. Relevance. I am establishing witness's state of mind, her potential for projection. I'll allow it. Get to the point, Mr. Brennan. Miss Ashford, Brennan continued, you've struggled with depression since your daughter's death. Quit your nursing job, 'cause you couldn't handle being around children. I quit because being in a NICU surrounded by babies was too painful. That's not instability. But you were grieving, vulnerable, perhaps seeing danger where none existed. I saw what I saw. The videos don't lie. Videos you recorded illegally. That could have been edited. They weren't, but they could have been. We only have your word. We have metadata, Morrison interjected. Timestamps, cloud storage logs, videos are verified. Brennan waved a hand. Nevertheless, Miss Ashford, you developed an obsession with my client, didn't you? I didn't convince myself of anything. I observed, documented, protected a child when no one else would. Or you manufactured a crisis to make yourself a hero, to replace the daughter you lost. Eva's temper flared. I don't need to replace Lily, and I didn't manufacture anything. Your client is a child abuser who planned murder. The evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is videos taken by an obsessed woman, pieced together to tell a story. Your Honor, Morrison stood. Is there a question here? Mr. Brennan asked questions or sit down. Brennan smiled coldly. No further questions. Eva stepped down, hands shaking with suppressed rage. But it didn't matter, because the jury had seen the videos, watched a woman torture a child, heard Eva's steady testimony. And when Morrison called Jenny, the nurse who'd witnessed abuse firsthand, the case became unassailable. The jury deliberated for 7 hours. Eva waited in the courthouse cafeteria, drinking bad coffee, watching the clock. Declan sat beside her. Oliver was with a trusted babysitter, Eva's former nursing colleague. What if they don't believe us? Declan said quietly. They will. But what if they will? Eva repeated firmly. Because truth is on our side. At 4:30, the bailiff announced verdict reached. They filed back into the courtroom. Eva's heart pounded. The jury foreman stood, middle-aged man in wire-rimmed glasses. On the count of attempted murder, how do you find guilty? Vivian's face went white. On child endangerment, guilty. On assault, guilty on all counts. On conspiracy to commit murder, guilty. The courtroom erupted. Cheers, gasps, someone crying. Vivian turned to look at Eva, eyes empty, no rage, no calculation, just emptiness. Eva stared back, didn't smile, didn't gloat, just nodded once. Justice 2 weeks later, they returned for sentencing. Judge Whitmore was known for being tough on child abusers. She looked at Vivian with undisguised contempt. Miss Delacroix, she began, I've presided over many cases, but rarely have I seen such calculated cruelty toward an innocent child. You abused a toddler who'd already lost his mother. You manipulated his father. You attempted to murder him for financial gain. Vivian stood silently. Her lawyer had advised not to speak. The prosecution recommended 25 years. Defense asked for leniency, citing financial situation as mitigating. But there is no excuse, none, for what you did. Financial stress does not justify child abuse. Jealousy does not justify attempted murder. Pause. I am sentencing you to 18 years in state prison. No parole possibility for 15 years. You will also pay restitution to the Thornhill family for medical expenses and damages, and you are permanently prohibited from any contact with children under 18. Vivian's composure cracked. 18 years for a child who isn't even hurt. Who's fine now? Miss Delacroix, the judge said coldly. That child is fine because Eva Ashford saved him. If she'd left you alone with Oliver one more day, we'd be having a murder trial. You'd be facing life. This is insane. I didn't take her away. The bailiffs did. Vivian screamed as they dragged her out. Screamed that it was unfair that Eva had ruined her life. That none of this would have happened if Isabel had just loved her back. The doors closed on her voice. Judge Whitmore looked at Eva. Miss Ashford, would you approach? Eva stood, walked forward on shaking legs. I want to thank you, the judge said quietly, for your courage, your persistence. You saved that child's life. I wish there were more people like you. Eva's throat tightened. I just did what anyone should. No, Judge Whitmore said. You did what most people wouldn't have the strength to do. Thank you. Eva nodded, unable to speak. Outside reporters swarmed. Cameras flashed. Questions shouted. Declan put his arm around Eva, shielded her. No comment, he said firmly. We're grateful for justice, and we're going home to our son. Our son. Eva heard it, felt something warm bloom. They drove home in silence. Snow had melted. Early spring flowers pushing through earth. New beginnings. 4 months passed. Oliver transformed slowly like a flower unfurling. He gained weight, 12 pounds in 16 weeks. Cheeks filled out. Eyes brightened. He started talking again. Real words, full sentences. Eva mama look, and daddy read story. And once I love you, whispered into Eva's hair at bedtime. He laughed. At bubbles. At silly faces. At the puppy Declan brought home a golden retriever named Sunny because Oliver said yellow was happy. He played, built block towers, painted pictures for the refrigerator, sang songs with Eva while baking cookies. He slept through the night, no nightmares, no screaming. He was healing. Eva watched with wonder. This resilience of children, this ability to recover when given safety and love. She was healing too. Nightmares about Lily came less frequently. Crushing guilt had eased into something softer. Sadness, yes. Loss, always. But not drowning weight of failure. She'd saved Oliver. She couldn't save Lily, but she'd saved Oliver. And maybe that was enough. Declan was healing too. Grey exhaustion had faded. He smiled more. Took time from work for superhero games. Read bedtime stories with funny voices, taught his son to be brave again. He'd asked Eva 3 weeks after trial to move into the main house. Guest house is lovely, he'd said, but your family, you should be with us. She'd moved into Isabel's old studio, a sunny room Declan had renovated, her own space, her own peace. But every morning, Oliver climbed into her bed. Every night they had dinner as a family. Every Sunday, they visited Isabel's grave and told her about their week. They were becoming whole. 8 months after sentencing, Declan established the Isabel Thornhill Foundation. Mission: protect children from abuse, train professionals to recognize danger, support survivors with counseling and resources. And every year, the foundation would present the Isabel Thornhill Hero Award to someone who demonstrated extraordinary courage protecting a child. The first recipient announced at a September gala would be Evangeline Ashford. Eva didn't want to go. I'm not a hero. I just did what was right. That's exactly what makes you a hero, Declan replied. So she went, wore a simple blue dress, let the stylist do her hair, stood in the ballroom surrounded by Connecticut's elite, trying not to feel like an imposter. The gala was beautiful. White roses, Isabel's favorite. Soft music, photographs of children the foundation had already helped. And on every table a candle. For children lost, for children saved. Declan gave a speech about Isabel, about her kindness, strength, belief that everyone deserved protection and love. My wife, he said, voice thick with emotion, believed in second chances, that broken things could be made beautiful. and she believed in the power of one person to change everything. He looked at Eva. Eva Ashford embodies everything Isabel valued. When everyone else gave up, Eva persisted. When everyone else looked away, Eva saw truth. When my son needed a hero, Eva became one. The room erupted in applause. Eva walked to the podium on trembling legs. 200 faces looked back, expectant, admiring. She thought of Lily, of Isabel, of Oliver, and she spoke from her heart. I didn't save Oliver alone, she began. Isabel saved him by bringing me into their lives. My daughter Lily saved him by teaching me what real love looks like. God saved him by giving me eyes to see and courage to act. Pause. I lost my little girl 18 months before I met Oliver. Lily drowned while I was at work, and I blamed myself. Thought I'd never forgive myself. Thought my life was over. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't wipe them away. Then Isabel called, asked me to work for her family, take care for Oliver. And I almost said no, because how could I care for someone else's child when I'd failed my own? The room was silent, rapt. But Isabel knew something I didn't. She knew that sometimes the only way to heal a broken heart is to love again, to risk again, to choose life even when death has taken everything. Eva looked at Declan, at Oliver sitting on his lap wearing a blue shirt because blue was his favorite. Oliver didn't replace Lily. No one could, but loving Oliver taught me I still had love to give, that my failure with Lily didn't mean I was doomed forever, that second chances are real. She held up the Crystal Award, a sculpture of hands holding a child. This award isn't just for me, it's for every person who has lost something precious and chosen to keep going. Every person who has seen danger and refused to look away. Every person who believes children deserve protection, even when protecting them costs everything. Voice breaking. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for seeing value in what I did. But mostly thank you for giving me a family when I thought I'd lost mine forever. She stepped away. The room exploded with applause. A standing ovation that went on and on. Declan was crying. Oliver was clapping his little hands with delight. And Eva felt for the first time since Lily died that maybe, just maybe, she was going to be okay. Oliver turned 3 on a sunny October morning. They celebrated in the garden. Balloons in every color. A cake shaped like a truck. 20 guests, family, friends, staff who'd supported Eva Jenny, the nurse, Officer Martinez. Oliver wore a blue shirt with his favorite superhero. He ran through grass with Sunny chasing him, laughing with pure, uncomplicated joy. Eva watched from the patio, lemonade in hand. Declan came to stand beside her. He's happy. He is. Because of you. Eva shook her head. Because of all of us. You, me, Isabel, watching over us. We're a team. We're a family, Declan corrected gently. Eva smiled. Yes, we are. Oliver ran over, breathless and grinning. Eva, Mama, Daddy, come play. They joined him in the grass, played tag, had a water balloon fight, ate cake with their hands like children themselves. When it was time to blow out candles, Oliver closed his eyes tight, made his wish. What did you wish for, buddy? Declan asked. Oliver looked at Eva, then at his father, back at Eva. I wish that Eva Mama stays forever, he said simply, and that we're always a family, forever and ever. Eva's throat closed. She looked at Declan over Oliver's head. His eyes were wet with joy, the kind that came from healing instead of hurt. Sweetheart, Eva said softly, kneeling an eye level with Oliver. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. You and Daddy, you're my family. For as long as you'll have me. Forever, Oliver asked. Forever, Eva promised. Oliver threw his arms around Eva's neck. I love you, Eva Mama. I love you too, sweet boy, so much. Declan wrapped his arms around both of them, 3 of them in the garden, surrounded by flowers and balloons and remains of a birthday party. A family not born from blood, but built from loss and love and the choice to keep fighting. Eva looked up at the sky, thought she saw Isabel smiling down, thought she felt Lily's presence too blessing this imperfect, beautiful second chance. Thank you, she whispered. To Isabel, to Lily, to God, to whatever force had brought her here. Thank you for letting me love again. The headline appeared in the Hartford Courant one October morning. The article described the foundation's work, training programs for social workers and teachers, a 24-hour hotline, resources for abuse survivors. It mentioned Eva Ashford, now Director of Child Advocacy, her work training professionals, her testimony at legislative hearings. It mentioned Oliver Thornhill, now 4 years old, thriving and healthy. A photograph showed him with his father and Eva at a foundation event, all three smiling. Oliver wore his signature blue shirt. Eva's hand rested on the child's shoulder. Declan's eyes held genuine peace. And it mentioned Vivian Delacroix, currently serving year 2 of 18, denied parole, showing no remorse. But the article wasn't really about Vivian. It was about healing, resilience, the power of one person's courage to change the world. In the Thornhill house that October morning, Eva read the article at breakfast. Oliver was coloring beside her. Declan was making pancakes. Sunny lay at Oliver's feet, tail thumping. It was an ordinary morning, peaceful, warm, exactly what Eva had once thought she'd never have again. "Eva Mama," Oliver said, holding up his drawing. "Look, it's us." Eva looked. The drawing showed 3 stick figures, one tall, one medium, one small, holding hands. Above them, 2 other figures, one with angel wings. One much smaller looked down from a cloud. "That's Mama Isabel," Oliver explained. "And that's Lily. They're watching us from heaven, making sure we're happy." Eva's eyes filled. "It's perfect, sweetheart." "We are happy, right?" Oliver asked, suddenly worried. "You're not sad." "No, baby, I'm not sad." Eva pulled Oliver onto her lap. "These are different tears, because I'm so grateful for you, for Daddy, for this life we have." Oliver studied her face. Then he kissed Eva's cheek. "Good, because I love you and families stay together." "Yes," Eva whispered. "Families stay together." Declan brought over pancakes. They ate breakfast together, talking about nothing and everything, planning the day, laughing at Sunny's attempts to steal bacon. Just a normal family, having a normal morning. But Eva knew there was nothing normal about the love they'd built, the healing they'd found, the way they'd taken tragedy and transformed it into hope. After breakfast, she went to her studio, pulled out her journal. She turned to a fresh page, dated it, and wrote, "Dear Lily, it's been 2 years since I lost you, and there are still days when grief feels unbearable. But I want you to know I'm okay now. I found a family. Oliver needs me the way I once needed you. And loving him doesn't mean I've forgotten you. I think you'd like Oliver. He's brave and funny and so full of light. And I think you'd like Declan too. I don't know why God let me lose you, but I know that on the other side I found purpose. I found family. I found proof that broken things can be beautiful again. Thank you for teaching me how to love. Thank you for watching over me. I love you forever, my sweet girl. But I'm going to be okay. Your mama always." She closed the journal, put it away. Then she went downstairs where Oliver was waiting to play superheroes, and Declan was waiting with his terrible dad jokes, and Sunny was waiting to be scratched, where her family was waiting. And for the first time since Lily died, Eva felt complete. Not because the pain was gone. It would never be gone. But because she'd learned that love is bigger than loss, that courage is stronger than fear, that families aren't always given. Sometimes they're chosen. And she had chosen this beautiful imperfect life, this hard-won happiness. She had chosen to save a child, to heal a broken man, to build a home from ashes. She had chosen love, and love Eva had learned was always worth choosing. Evangeline Ashford continues to serve as director of the Isabel Thornhill Foundation for Child Protection. In its first year, the foundation helped identify and rescue 50 children from abusive situations. Oliver Thornhill is now 4 years old. He is healthy, happy, and thriving. He still calls Eva, Eva Mama. Declan Thornhill has reduced his work hours to spend more time with his son. He credits Eva with teaching him what family truly means. Vivian Delacroix is serving 18 years at York Correctional Institution in Connecticut. She will be eligible for parole in 2039. Together, Eva, Declan, and Oliver continue to heal. They visit Isabel's grave every Sunday. They honor Lily's memory every year on her birthday. And they live each day as proof that sometimes the family you choose is the family you were always meant to find.